Hello students, today you will learn how to solve some problems on HCF. Let's first try to solve question number 1 from exercise 3.7. Question number 1. Renu purchases 2 bags of fertilizer of weight 75 kg and 69 kg. Find the maximum value of weight which can measure the weight of the fertilizer exact number of times. So basically here we need to find the maximum value, which means we need to find the HCF of 75 and 69. So to find HCF, we will represent 75 and 69 in terms of their prime factors first. And then we will list the common prime factors from the factors of 75 and 69. And then we will find the product of common prime factors. So weights of 2 bags of fertilizer is 75 kg and 69 kg. Maximum weight will be equal to HCF of the weights of 2 bags. That means HCF of 75 and 69. Now we will find the prime factors of 75 and 69 separately. So at first, we will do the prime factorization of 75. Here we need to find the smallest prime factor which can divide 75 exactly without leaving any remainder. We know that 75 is exactly divisible by the prime number 3. So when we divide 75 by 3, we get 25 as the quotient. Now again we need to find a prime factor which can divide 25 exactly without leaving any remainder. And we know that 25 is exactly divisible by the prime number 5. So when we divide 25 by 5, we get 5 as the quotient. And we know that 5 is a prime number. So we divide 5 by 5 only. And we get 1 as the quotient. So the prime factorization of 75 is done. And the prime factors of 75 are 3, 5 and 5. Now we will do the prime factorization of 69. So here we need to find the smallest prime factor which can divide 69 exactly. And we know that 69 is exactly divisible by 3. So when we divide 69 by 3, we get 23 as the quotient. We know that 23 is a prime number. So we will divide 23 by 23 only. And we will get 1 as the quotient. So the prime factorization of 69 is done. And the prime factors of 69 are 3 and 23. Now we will represent 75 and 69 in terms of their prime factors. So we can represent 75 as 3 into 5 into 5 and 69 can be written as 3 into 23. Now here we can see only 3 is common. So the HCF of 75 and 69 will be 3. Hence, 3 kg is the maximum value of weight which can measure the weight of the fertilizer exact number of times. Now let's solve question number 3. Question number 3 is the length, breadth and height of a room are 825 cm, 675 cm and 450 cm respectively. Find the longest tape which can measure the 3 dimensions of the room exactly. So here we need to find the longest tape, which means we need to find the HCF of 825, 675 and 450. So to find the HCF of the numbers, we need to represent 825, 675 and 450 in terms of their prime factors, and then we will list the common prime factors of these 3 numbers. And after that, we will find the product of the common prime factors. So length of the room is equal to 825 cm. Breadth of the room is 675 cm and height of the room is 450 cm. Now the longest tape will be equal to the HCF of length, breadth and height. Basically it means the HCF of 825, 675 and 450. Now we will find the prime factors of 825, 675 and 450 separately. So at first we will do the prime factorization of 825. So here we need to find the smallest prime factor which can divide 825 exactly. We know that the prime number 3 can divide 825 exactly. So when we divide 825 by 3, we get 275 as the quotient. Now again we need to find a prime factor which can divide 275 exactly. We know that the prime number 5 can divide 275 exactly. So we divide 275 by 5 and we get 55 as the quotient. Now we need to find a prime factor which can divide 55 exactly. We know that 55 is exactly divisible by 5. So when we divide 55 by 5, we get 11 as the quotient. And since 11 is a prime number, we divide it by 11 only. So when we divide 11 by 11, we get 1 as the quotient. So the prime factorization of 825 is done. And the prime factors of 825 is 3, 5, 5 and 11. Now let's do the prime factorization of 675. So here we need to find the smallest prime factor which can divide 675 exactly. As we know the prime factor 3 can divide 675 exactly, so when we divide 675 by 3, we get 225 as the quotient. Now we need to find the smallest prime factor which can divide 225 exactly. We can divide 225 by 3 again because 225 is exactly divisible by 3. And when we divide 225 by 3, we get 75 as the quotient. Now we need to find the smallest prime factor which can divide 75 exactly. As we know, 3 can divide 75 exactly. So when we divide 75 by 3, we get 25 as the quotient. Now again we need to find the smallest prime factor which can divide 25 exactly. The prime factor 5 can divide 25 exactly. So when we divide 25 by 5, we get 5 as the quotient. And since 5 is a prime number, we need to divide 5 by 5 only. So when we divide 5 by 5, we get 1 as the quotient. So the prime factorization of 675 is done. And the prime factors of 675 are 3, 3, 3, 5 and 5. Now we will do the prime factorization of 450. So we need to find the smallest prime factor which can divide 450 exactly. Since the last digit is 0, 450 is exactly divisible by 2. So when we divide 450 by 2, we get 225 as the quotient. And now we need to find the smallest prime factor which can divide 225 exactly. The prime number 3 can divide 225 exactly. So when we divide 225 by 3, we get 75 as the quotient. Now again we need to find the smallest prime factor which can divide 75 exactly. The prime number 3 can divide 75 exactly. So when 75 is divided by 3, we get 25 as the quotient. And now we need to find the smallest prime factor which can divide 25 exactly. The prime number 5 can divide 25 exactly. So when we divide 25 by 5, we get 5 as the quotient. And since 5 is a prime number, we will divide it by 5 only. When 5 is divided by 5, we get 1 as the quotient. So the prime factorization of 450 is done. And the prime factors of 450 are 2, 3, 3, 5 and 5. Now we will represent 825, 675 and 450 in terms of their prime factors. So we can represent 825 as 3 into 5 into 5 into 11, 675 as 3 into 3 into 3 into 5 into 5, and 450 can be written as 2 into 3 into 3 into 5 into 5. And as we can see, only 1 time of 3 and 2 times of 5 is common here. So we will find the product of 3, 5 and 5. So the HCF will be 75. Hence the longest step is 75 cm, which can measure the 3 dimensions of the room exactly. That's all for today. Thank you.